It should be more about, again, user experience rather than just being good looking. You can have the best looking website, but it could be loading slowly. It could be impossible to navigate. It could be very difficult to find things. So really, it should be a healthy combination of looking good, but at the same time, very easy to navigate.
Welcome to the My Future Business Show, where we get you in front of your best audience and keep you there. Not only are we interviewing the biggest names in business to help you become even more successful, we're inviting you to book your spot on the show to help you grow your business. So at the end of the call, make sure you fill in the interview application form at myfuturebusiness.com/interviews. Hello and welcome back to the My Future Business Show. It's Rick Nusky. I'm your host. I'd just like to say thank you for joining us today and for all of the wonderfully warm feedback that you are providing. It makes all the difference knowing that it's making a difference for you. Now on today's show, we're going to be talking about internet marketing, business development and entrepreneurialism with Mr. Dmitrii Kustov. Welcome to the show, Dmitrii.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Dmitrii is one of three co-founders, business leaders at Regex SEO, and one of the first things we like to do, Dmitrii, is talk about the founders, and in particular, starting with yourself, and things like where you're located, and if you do have any time away from the workplace, what you like to do in your pastime.
All right, yes. So I have founded Regex SEO in 2015. Just in the beginning, I was on my own, and it's been going on for about 2 years before I decided to merge with two of my friends. So I have a background in coding and search engine optimization, and two of my friends, they decided to open their own company, more specializing in web design. At the time, I was pretty much outsourcing all my web design work. They approached me, and we kind of decided to do a trade-off in terms of type of work. If they get any SEO work, they would send it my way. If I get any design work, I would send it their way. And it just made sense for us to merge into one company, and that's what happened. Yeah. As for what I do during my free time, me and my wife, we have a business, kind of like a side business. We are breeding dogs, corgis specifically, and also Caucasian shepherds. They are quite a rare breed from Russia, which I brought with me when I moved to US. And for fun, I like car racing.
Fantastic. What particular type of car racing? All sorts, or?
Well, I have my kind of amateur grade race car, and it's usually time attack or like just racing on a circuit.
Fantastic. That's excellent. I love learning a little bit more about people behind the business because it actually gives some body to the business, and people want that, I think, nowadays. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we actually do we do some type of tasks and kind of activities at our office, which allows us to find out more about our potential employees or current employees and things like that. We go to different places and like go karting, bowling, and whatnot. And yeah, we learn much more about people there rather than in the office environment.
Yeah, thank you so very much for sharing. Now, I would like to know a little bit about how it is, what's your experience like having two other co-founders? I've spoken with people that having one co-founder, let alone two to work with, is quite challenging. Do you find that it's a challenge?
There are always some troubles we go through, but at the end of the day, we know our boundaries, and we have kind of like a system in place which allows us not to be basically friendly, and we are all friends there. And one of the good things is that we have pretty much a separation of tasks. So I am internet marketing director. I work pretty much 100% of my work is about marketing, about strategy, and the other guy, Servando. He is our visual designer. He does all of the work related to every kind of web design and graphics and all that stuff. And then the third partner, Josh, he does business development, so sales and just making sure that the company stays afloat, kind of thing. So there is, of course, always interaction and kind of decision making, which all three of us make, but in general, we are in our own offices and interact only when it's kind of necessary. We just have a high level of trust in each other products, let's say, and that's why we can do business on a good level.
Yes, thank you. I've been going through your about pages and looking at the team, of which you have about 9 or 10 people on the books at the moment. How is
It's
it?
actually more than that.
Is it now? Yeah.
Yeah, we're close to 14, and those are full-time people, and then we have close to 40 contractors and freelancers who work with us on a constant basis.
See, this represents a business that is established. It shows that you've got traction in the marketplace, and I think that's very important for people when they come to you, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And it just it also makes us all happy because, again, in the beginning it was just basically just me. Then whenever we merged, it was just three of us, and now we are a full-size normal company.
Did you found that you got to sleep more often, I suspect?
I don't know about that. Maybe a little bit, but it's still, the business is my baby.
Yeah.
And we still work
Do
more
you
than 8 hours a day. And
do you
it's not a
find
full
it's difficult to let go of certain tasks, given that it is your baby?
uh, I got better at that, I would say.
Yep.
In the beginning, it was, but at some point, there is a realization that there's just not enough time in the world to do everything yourself. So we just find good employees, good members of our team who we can entrust certain tasks, and at that point, everybody's job becomes easier.
Yes, fantastic. I know that we're going to be talking about internet marketing. There are so many different lanes that we could walk down together. Your particular focus may not be the only focus, but your primary focus is on SEO. Is that correct?
It's one of the main internet marketing channels we specialize in.
Mm-hmm.
The company has been established as an SEO company, but in marketing, in internet marketing, it all comes together. You can't really separate kind of a one internet marketing channel and just go after that and disregard the others. So we do consider ourselves a full digital marketing agency, full scope, meaning that we provide every kind of service. And typically, whenever our idea is that whenever somebody comes to us with literally zero online presence, we can take them from zero to hero, and that in most cases requires a good website. So we do website development, website design. It requires other types of promotions on social media, email marketing, paid advertising, and so on and so on. So again, it's SEO is one of the main channels, but still a lot of work. We do a lot of work in other different internet marketing channels.
Fantastic. I wonder if I came to you and I had absolutely nothing, and I had a business, but it was all bricks and mortar. What would you start walking me through? What is the process?
Right. Whenever somebody comes to us, we differentiate ourselves from other businesses, other online SEO companies, is that we don't really have any plans, or we're not trying to fit a unique business into a predefined plan. That's what we say.
Mm-hmm.
Because unfortunately there are so many other companies that they have plan number 1, 2, and 3, and then you kind of choose from those, and that's it. Well, our idea is that every business is unique. Every business needs a custom approach, custom solution. So whenever somebody comes to us, we have a discovery meeting where we pretty much lay out the strategy. We learn about the business, and we can, with a high certainty, build a campaign which will allow that business to have the best ROI, and the best growth over time. Because there are, let's say, oil and gas companies. We are located in Houston, in
Hmm.
Texas. There's a lot of oil and gas companies here. In most cases, SEO is not the best channel for them. So why would we sell them SEO and then not pay attention to other avenues? Or let's say, like an e-commerce, some kind of boutique store. In their case, social media could be one of the biggest, better, best channels. So again, if we don't start with that, then the rest of the marketing will not make sense. So yeah, again, the process is more about finding that right solution for that specific situation.
Thank you once again. I wonder, given the current times that we're all going through globally, excuse me, are you finding that your client base is growing at the moment because everybody's stuck at home? How's that side of it going?
No, fortunately enough, because we are an internet marketing business,
Hmm.
and not too many of our clients have been in the industries which have been affected by COVID.
Hmm.
Fortunately, we did not have to fire anybody, or we did not have to really slow down in terms of current clientele. What did happen was, of course, every company is cutting the budget. So budgets is, and unfortunately, marketing budgets are one of the first
To go.
things companies are looking at to cut,
Yep.
which is probably not the best idea actually, because if you don't market during these times, your your brand reputation could go down, your online market share could go down. So with us, fortunately, we have not been impacted too much. We just have slowed down our new business development,
Hmm.
but starting in July-ish, it picked up back up after everything opened, after the shutdown was over. So we are pretty much back at the level we were before all of this started.
Now, I know that you can't isolate one lane from another in terms of internet marketing, but what is your favorite? Do you have a favorite?
Uh, I am very analytical uh, person,
Yep.
so I do enjoy it all together. I have been kind of trained mostly in SEO. That's where my internet marketing career started.
Hmm.
So I probably know the most about that, but I do like that idea, that approach of strategy overall, how different pieces of the puzzle meet together, how they fit together, and I do enjoy developing strategies based on data.
On the
Uh, I,
data.
I'm a big data nerd. Yeah.
Fantastic. I wonder, we're seeing so many people come out with, this is the latest SEO trick. Let's talk a little bit more about SEO. They talk
Mhm.
about these tricks and this software that can make it easy. I'm also hearing a pulse about moving away purely from keyword, both short tail, long tail, more to answer based driven algorithm. Is that correct? And if it is, can you explain to us what this shift is all about?
All right. So it's kind of both still.
Right.
So it used to be maybe 6, 7, 8 years ago that all you had to do to rank on the first page for a given keyword, you would have to just have that key phrase on your website a million times, and that's
Hmm.
it. And then it's what that led to was just basically an impossible to read, very bad content on websites, and therefore for users, whenever they're searching on the internet for some kind of product or solution, it became very not user friendly responses, not very user-friendly answers on those websites. So Google has switched the whole approach towards user intent, and that is basically trying to answer user question and provide the best answer for the intent, because we're all human, and uh, whenever somebody is typing a specific search, they could type it in different ways, and they're not necessarily meaning exactly what they're typing.
Yeah.
A good example would be something like you could type in like buy running shoes, right? This is pretty clear. I want to buy some shoes. But if you type in best running shoes, most likely you're still looking to buy, but at the same time, your intent is to kind of see some comparison between brands, maybe. See some like pros and cons, maybe best pricing, things like that. So if you're just one brand website, then most likely you're not going to be ranking for best running shoes, because if you're only, all you're doing is just trying to sell and push your own product without comparing to competitors or other brands or anything like this. So Google, in this case, and if you Google anything like that, in most cases they provide answers with those type of competitor aggregator websites, some kind of review websites, maybe YouTube videos and things like that. So that's really what that move was, from one-to-one phrase to more about what people are actually meaning when they're typing in something in Google.
Thank you for sharing that. I often find that using phrases like how to or what if are very helpful. Is it important how you structure, let's say if we were doing a website, web page, and we're creating a post of sorts and we want to explain to our visitors as a business how to do X. Is that a good way to start off?
It surely would be a good place to start. There is a lot of other type of strategy which comes into website development, such as, for example, content marketing and content strategy. If you are just a blogger and all you do is review products, then sure, how-to type of articles would work for you. But if you are a business which sells a product or a service, then you still need to have a structure of your website where your services and products kind of they work together with how-to articles, with I don't know, some kind of comparison articles, and so on. Now, and as for how to actually name the article, well, there are many tools, and quite a few of them are free, that will allow you to find the best or the highest search volume keywords, right? So let's say how to do X, whatever that X is.
Yeah.
There could be other type of searches which are asking exactly the same question, but they might be rephrased a little bit. And these tools will help you to they will show you how many people are searching for those type of products, and for what type of products and services they're searching, and how they're searching for them. That way, whenever you optimize the content, you can actually include all of those high volume, high search volume key phrases in your text, in your content, to basically satisfy the most users on the internet.
Now, primarily, Google is the one that we need to measure. They're the measuring stick by which we all act on, generally, aren't they?
Yeah.
They tend to have a number of different measurements or metrics that they use to determine rankability. One that often comes up for me, is your site speed. How do you help your clients in terms of site speed?
Okay, so Google uses hundreds and hundreds of different signals. Site speed is what it used to be, that it was literally like a metric.
Yeah.
You can go to Google PageSpeed Insights, and they will give you a score out of 100. And it used to be back in a day, like 10 years ago, that the Google itself would basically use that number as a measuring stick. Like if you're less than 90 out of 100, then we're not going to show you as often as people who are 92 out of 100 or something like this. Nowadays, this metric, this site loading speed metric, it's more in the bucket of user experience metrics.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I guess let me kind of sidestep a little bit. There are really four main ingredients of SEO, or really any optimization on the website. One of them is technical, which is just making sure your website runs like speed and things like that. Then user experience is a huge thing nowadays. Then content itself, making sure you're talking about the right things. And the last one, let's see, user experience, content, technical, and backlinks, right? The fourth one is backlinks,
Yeah.
right? Like recommendations. So with the user experience bucket, it doesn't really matter as much what your literal loading speed is. If you're loading in 2 seconds or 3 seconds, it's more about how user feels or how they perceive the loading. There are different methods of optimization of your website when somebody goes to your website and it can be loading in the background, and in real, like if you put it against some kind of stopwatch,
Mm-hmm.
it could take you 10, 20, 30 seconds, but for the user, it feels like it's immediate, right? So it's more about how user perceives it. If I go on my phone, especially without being on Wi-Fi, and the website is not loading, it's just being white screen, then I'm just going to leave that website.
Of course.
Right? And there are quite a few studies that saying that basically it has to be, the first interaction has to be within first second. So if within first second something pops up on your screen, most cases you're going to be fine. And then it becomes to interactiveness. As user scrolls through the website, are things being loaded properly? Are things being loaded basically in time?
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's not a metric, it's more of a user experience
Yeah.
thing.
Absolutely. I can tell that you've done this a number of times and you've played in this realm for so long now. One thing we haven't touched on is content frequency as it relates to ranking. Does the frequency of which you post content make a difference?
Not really. And it's actually a very easy answer when you think about it. You can be posting something every day, but if the quality is so low that it kind of makes you look worse,
Yeah.
then what's the point? What's the benefit of it, right? So the way we typically approach content development is, instead of trying to, let's say, write a blog post every day, or I don't know, for clients, let's say every week, whatever it is, it's rather, hey, let's develop a really good piece of content that will help your potential customers, that will be ranking, and therefore will bring you more business. So instead of spending, let's say, 1 hour on a very short blog post who nobody cares about, and then doing that a couple of times a week, why don't we spend 10, 20, 30 hours on one really great article that will be kind of evergreen content,
Yeah.
which will be ranking on Google, that will bring you actual customers and will be converting users into paying buyers or customers or clients. So yeah, it's not really about frequency, it's about quality.
Quality. Thank you so very much for sharing. I think to myself, we talked about essentially keyword stuffing before. It's more about talking in your natural voice and actually communicating something of value, isn't it? Rather than, trying to be a little bit dodgy and use all these unique strategies, if you like.
Right. Keyword stuffing it's kind of, it's when you use way too much, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if you read an article and it's so obvious that there's just keywords here and there everywhere, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be using keywords, that you shouldn't be optimizing the content. You still should be using that. It needs to read natural. Uh, and again, it comes back to user experience. If somebody goes to your website and it reads very, very badly, very weirdly, people are just going to leave, and therefore they're not going to become your customers. And just do it so that people write it in a way so that people are interested in actually reading that a blog post or service page or whatever it is.
I love what you're doing at Regex because you've taken on I guess, an angle of honesty and only promoting what your clients actually want. And they are clients as opposed to customers, aren't they? Because you
Right.
would have a
Yeah.
long-term relationship with the people you work with. That be right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Uh, our we don't really have like a one-time customers.
Mm-hmm.
When they come in, we do something for a day and then that's it, right? It's usually a relationship for sure, which in most cases it's years
Yeah.
of being together.
I know that there's been a lot of damage done to the internet marketing industry by unscrupulous operators that just want to rip people off. And I think that's an important message that you are communicating on your website and then when you're talking with people. Uh, let's explore backlinks as it relates to this very same problem. Uh, are backlinks still a viable option?
It's a very not just viable but very important part of, especially in SEO world,
Mm-hmm.
because well, so a backlink is any other website linking to your website. Now, there are different types of backlinks, and they could be very spammy. They could be very what we call black hat, which do not have any value. And this is what really it comes down to. Each backlink is the way we like to explain it to our potential clients. They are like recommendations on in the internet world. So whenever somebody else links to your website, they should be saying, hey, this website, this company, they know what they're doing. Here's a link, go check them out, right? So, and when comparing to quality of them, it's kind of like a recommendation from a friend or from some kind of homeless person who you never met before,
Yeah.
and they do not look appealing, right? So that's exactly the same thing. So it's more about quality of those links and making sure that they actually give you value or give users value.
Mm-hmm.
They shouldn't be just bought pretty much, right?
Yeah.
You don't want them on some kind of third-party weird website which has nothing to do with your business or industry you're in or anything like that. So it should be it should be helping the users who are reading the articles or content on those websites and continuing the train of thought of those users if they want to find out more about a product, about service or anything like that.
This is great
So
content. I love the discussion that we're having here, Dmitrii, because there are just so many different things we could cover in such a short amount of time. I want to skip back a little bit to the user experience in terms of user interface. How important is it to have a good-looking website?
it should be more about, again, user experience rather
Mm-hmm.
than just being good looking. You can
Mm-hmm.
have the best looking website, but it could be loading slowly. It could be impossible to navigate. It could be very difficult to find things. And I have seen those, unfortunately. Very beautiful, very good looking, but impossible to find anything. So really, it should be a healthy combination of still modern, looking good, but at the same time, very easy to navigate. And really, that's what it comes down to. Some clients come to us with a bit older websites, which still do very good job in sending people to right pages. And all those websites need is just a little bit like a facelift, right? We don't have to rebuild the whole thing from scratch.
Yeah.
And then we have the other type of clients, potential clients who already have really good websites, very good looking websites, but they're not really helping users to find any answers on the website. So in those cases, we kind of have to rebuild the whole thing, even though they might look better from the first glance. And that's what it comes down to, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. I wonder, you talk about existing websites. I suspect they've got a lot of SEO juice in them. When you have to rework or remodel a web page or a series of web pages to make up a website, are you undoing all of that good work because of the age of a domain?
Age of a domain is not that big of a deal anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Again, 10 years ago or so, it used to be a much bigger deal. Nowadays, it's just more about optimization, backlinks. It's more about kind of a brand awareness, really, right? There are a lot of brand new companies, and some of them are very new, but already very well known because they just do good work and the word spreads. So age of the domain does not mean that much anymore.
Yep.
It's more about providing that quality content to users with providing good user experience.
This leads me to my next questions about you touched on brand. Now, brand awareness, brand positioning, brand messaging, is that something that Regex SEO provides help with?
Yeah, we do a full brand strategy development for clients who are interested in that, and typically that is more for brand new companies. Either they're about to start to launch their products, to launch the company, and they need help with everything. Because if they've been in business for 20, 30 years, most likely the word is kind of spread around and they kind of have more or less things figured out. Now, of course, there are cases when they really should be looking at some kind of brand redevelopment, but whenever you have hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars invested into a brand name, even though it could be not the best brand name, the best messaging, there is just a lot of pushback from the executives. But yeah, we do provide that, and we have had quite a few campaigns in terms of brand awareness.
Like we talked about earlier, you are the full suite of products and services to get somebody from zero to hero, as you mentioned earlier. I love that phrase. Now, from a mechanical perspective, there are a couple of things that the My Future Business audience needs to know. Is one, where are they going to find you? And secondly, what is the process for applying to work with Regex SEO?
Okay, so the website is regexseo.com. For some folks who are not in the technical industry, regex could be a bit weird word, but it stands for regular expressions. It's kind of a programming term. So regexseo.com. That's our website. To find me directly, you can find me on Twitter, on LinkedIn, and my handle is Digital Spaceman. We are in Houston after all. We have NASA.
Makes sense.
And, our website is all branded towards that space theme.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Digital Spaceman is my handle everywhere. And you can, if you find me, then just shoot me a message. Or you can contact us or call us from the website. There is not really kind of like a process per se to start the conversation. All you have to do is just call us or send us some kind of email, and we'll go from there.
Fantastic. That's just some wonderful insights. I love the fact that there's no structured process. This is more about conversations about creating relationships with the people that you're working with. And for everybody who's on the show with us today, I will be making links back to Dmitrii and his wonderful team at Regex SEO. In closing, Dmitrii, this has been a wonderful experience, some great content being shared. Thank you so very much for spending some time with me on the My Future Business Show today.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for joining us today. If you enjoyed the call, then make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, share us with your friends, and book your spot on the show at myfuturebusiness.com/interviews. And if you're looking for solutions that will help grow your business, then visit myfuturebusiness.com/shop.